Alright, here we are. Teresa, the warrior. So, what's this warrior all about? Is it any good? Should you stick with it? Should you ditch it? First chance you get? Well, let's see here. Alright, so, what to say about the warrior? Well, you're going to start the game as this class. Teresa, of course, is my main. I went with the waifu on this playthrough. Teresa starts as the sword and board warrior. It's probably my preferred weapon with the warrior. Statistically, the warrior is probably going to be the tankiest class in the game. It still has high attack, high defense. It really doesn't need any particular accessories, so you know it's going to have a little bit of freedom in that regard. I mean, some of the other characters and classes, you're really going to want to put certain accessories on them. So I mean, that's a benefit there. So the warrior, it has access to 3 different weapon types. We're just going to do the sword and board for this video here. Try to keep things short. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, but I'm just going to stick with the sword here. Proficiency. You're going to get, so the sword is going to get 4 abilities. And these abilities here are tied to your weapon type. This has nothing to do with the class that you're on. However, only certain classes give access to certain weapon types. So you're not going to be able to use a wand on a warrior or a gladiator. You're not going to be able to use an axe on a sage. So the stuff that you see here just really doesn't have anything to do with the warrior. It's just all for the sword itself. Of course, 16 through 20, this is post-game stuff. You're going to need a quest for it. But it's this stuff here. You're also going to get some stats and some abilities that will change how your combos function. Alright. So let's look at the skill tree. So what do we see here? So we got 3 different sections. Let's start with, I guess we'll start here first. So the warrior, you're going to get, it's technically 4 different sections. They just put these together. I mean, you have stats, and then passives, abilities, and then more stats, but whatever. So these are only going to be in effect when you're on your warrior class. So if you switch to, let's say, martial artist, none of this stuff is going to be active. It's not going to work. The warrior is going to get some HP, some strength, and some defense. It's not going to get any extra MP or deafness. That's fine. You know, I mean, all it really needs is just these 3 core stats here. These passives here, they're pretty much going to be the same for everyone outside of a couple unique ones, which we'll get into in a second. But first I want to talk about these right here. So these are extra stats that you're going to get. So there's 7 classes in the game, and each class is going to have a skill tree like this. There's going to be 3 sections: the class skills, abilities, and then the section for all vocations. So these stats will, these passives will work on your other classes. You don't need to be a warrior to have access to these. They're always going to be active. So with 7 classes and a lot of extra stats from the vocations, it sounds like, you know, the character is going to be pretty powerful. Well, that's not the case. The thing is the cousins, Teresa and Nazriel, they have bad natural stat growth. So you take them from 1 to 99, and you take Cesar from 1 to 99. Cesar's going to have better stats. They really need to have these extra stats from the classes to be equal to the other characters, because otherwise they're just going to be behind the curve. So these are, I mean, I suppose nothing in the game's mandatory. You can go through the game with, you know, a bronze sword and 0 abilities. But I mean, these are pretty much mandatory, I'd say, just to be on the same level as your other party members. It's kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. You only need to be level 36 to unlock them all. I believe maybe the Gladiator and Sage is 30, 38 or 40. I'm not sure. It should be 36, somewhere around there. But either way, once you get, you know, end game, midish end game, you should, if you know what you're doing and you know where to go and how to do it, you should, getting to level 36 is pretty easy. So keep that in mind. So now let's get back to these abilities here. Again, these are just standard stuff. You're only going to find a couple abilities that stand out and make the class what it is. And the warrior, of course, has 2 of them. The first being this right here, better defense boosts. This is what makes it the tankiest class in the game, arguably. Anyways, I mean, I suppose Yangus is the tankiest, but you know, that's whatever. Either way, so this one is essentially a scholar's spec. So defense increases boosted by 20%. So the gladiator, the warrior has this built in, and the gladiator is not going to get this. No other class is going to get this. Just the warrior, and it's going to be just super beefy end game, and just very tanky, very tanky. The second ability that it gets is auto block. A couple classes and characters get this. But you know, this is nice for the warrior, because when you're in the, you know, in the thick of things, mashing and smashing, you know, it's nice to have this extra mitigation. So it's pretty cool. These 2 here really solidify it as a, you know, just want to just relax. And keep in mind that you do need Kabuff for this to take effect, but you should generally have a priest with you, or at least Kirill. And I mean, you don't necessarily need Kabuff, but it'll make your, yeah, you're just gonna have to play smarter and better, and it's gonna be a more, you know, intensive thing, rather than just sitting back in the recliner relaxing and just having a casual time slaughtering all the cute, innocent, sleeping creatures. Okay? Alright. So, you know, it's still good. You should have it with you always. So, alright, now let's get into the abilities here. Every class is going to have some spells or abilities, and out of those there's going to be a couple that the class can use regardless of weapon type, and there's also going to be some that's going to be locked to the weapons. So for example, Excalibur, this is for the dual blades, but we're not doing that. We're doing sword and board for this one. Heartbreaker on the axe. So not going to be able to use any of these. We can, however, use these 2 down here. So same deal. It's also worth noting that none of these abilities you're going to be able to use on the gladiator. So this is what makes going down the path of the, you know, going with the warrior. So it's these passives here. It's the spells and abilities, and it's the weapon selection. And it's also the stats, I suppose, of the class. The gladiators can use claws and staves. We can't, but you know, we get swords and we get special sword attacks that the gladiator does not get. Okay, it's not going there just yet. Alright, so actually, yeah, let's just do it. Yeah, okay, and then we'll do power cut. No, it's not that. Okay, let's show you the abilities that you're gonna get with the sword itself. Good enough. All right. All right. So let's just go over the moveset real quick. So standard, 4-hit. Here's your normals. Oh, you want to play? All right. 1, 2, 3. Dummy. Alright. Can you believe how rude? You put that thing on a leash. Alright, so let's get back into it. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is your standard normal combo string. Of course, you have your charge attacks. That would be your C1 right here. This one is the second best C1 of the sword users. Terry has the best one. Teresa and Azrael had the second, and the heroes, Lucius and Aurora, the DLCs, they have the third. But I mean, they're basically all the same. It's just when this one's quick and has good forward movement. So that's all I care about. Let's do the C2. This one is a sort of I can just show it. It's like a knockback. There we go. And look at that. So, kind of knocks him back, knocks him up. Of course, if your proficiency is high enough, you will unlock the option to follow up in the air. I mean, you don't have to, but you can. Once you're in the air, you got access to a couple combos here. So 2 slices, so 1, 1, 2, and you can do this rotation twice. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you're done. You can finish the charge in the air. This is nice because oftentimes you'll encounter bosses or monsters, some of the bigger ones, that'll knock you way up in the air, and once you're up there, just do that all the way down. Good damage. Of course, you can do the ground pound. Again, this is a Musou game. It's gonna your mileage may vary. So, alright, let's do the C3. Here we are, and you'll notice that before your thrust, your shield will be covered with an aura, and this is your counter. If you get hit while this is up, the monster will be staggered, and you're going to go into a weakened state, which means you'll do more damage to him. It's effectively the same thing as it, you know. So if you were fighting a dragon, you could hit it in its arms, in its ribs, and its tail, or you could hit it in its head and do weakness damage, extra weakness damage. It's the same thing when a monster's staggered. You're going to get that extra damage to it. So this is the same as your standard guard, but your guard is, the window is smaller, but you don't need to be in a combo. So I mean, it's kind of difficult to do a reaction counter because you're gonna have to be in the combo. This one, you just want to just pop it out just like that. It's like Sekiro. There you are. Look, you just beat the game. All right. And then of course it showed you this Flame Slash. 1, 2, and 3. Charge it up. So here we are. And then from there, you just do whatever you want. It's a Musou game. Alright. Okay, so let's show you the 4 moves that we're getting here with the sword. These right here: Flame Slash, Soaring, Spin, and Inferno. This is like a ranged AoE. It will scoop up things along its path. So it's not like a beam super, but you know, if you're... Uh-oh. What's going on here? Alright. The other one would be Soaring Slice. This is your gap closer. It's not too expensive. It's only 7. You're not going to use it for damage. It's not going to do a lot of damage. It's just a utility gap closer. That's what I use it for. The other one would be Flame Slash. This is your most powerful attack. You can hold it, get more bang for your buck, so you're not just blowing through. And last, well, I'm out of MP. Come on. There we go. Beast Inferno. So this one's a really good move. It does good damage. You have a decent amount of control. But most importantly is that this one's giving you hyper armor. So you're not going to get slapped around. So let's go see if we can... no, let's not do that just yet. Okay, so let's put on the abilities. Morale Master. Let's do that. Okay, so here are the abilities that's unique to the warrior. Wow, really? Wow, did you hear Helix scream? That was crazy. Wow. Alright. Okay, so we have the Body Slam. This is like Soaring Slice, but, you know, worse, I suppose. It's cheaper. It's not moving you as far, but, you know, it's what it is. The other one that we get is Morale Masher, and what this does is this debuffs, not debuffs, it dispels enemies, dispels their buffs. So I mean, there's a couple of enemies, I don't know if I'm not gonna go chase them down, but once they buff up, you know, they buff themselves, attack buffs, and then they just go into like a rage mode and just start doing tons of damage. I mean, even at max level, probably get 2-shot, 2-3 shot. If they're a wanted monster, it's probably a 1 to 2 shot. So it's quite nice to have. Again, it's situational. Firstly, you're gonna have to be on the warrior class. You're probably gonna be on another class, leveling them up, getting those stat passives, or you may just not like the warrior. Number 2, you're gonna have to have Morale Masher on your bar. It doesn't do any damage, so I'll just show you. No damage. It just does that. Wow. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that just yet. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I use. It's actually similar to this. All we do is swap these out. Alright, so the deal here is we go Body Slam into Spinferno. That's only 10 MP. And we just do that. So look at this. Just pretty good. Even up quite a bit. There we are. So I mean, that's a pretty consistent damage. You're also not going to get slapped around due to the properties of Spinferno and its hyper armor. That would be your standard just go to just to kill things. Again, you could use the normal attacks. You can try for the counters. This will increase your tension. So let's go here and see if I can get a counter. Come on. There we are. So he's staggered. Look at that, 85, 84. So we increased our tension and we staggered him. No, don't do that. Okay, so 54, 48. So as you can see, when we get the stagger, they go into the weakness state. Look at that. So let's see here. Let's do come on. Chump.
Now back to the fray.
Alright. So yeah, there we are. So I mean that's the warrior you get in there, and that's what you do for general just general mobbing, I suppose. Let's see if I can find a there he is. So now this is what we would do in tension. This is where the big damage happens. Can you stop doing that? Look at that. So it blows through your MP, but when you're in tension, that's the combo that you're going to use, and you're just going to annihilate everything. This is your cheaper combo. She's basically just using those two. And this is what really separates the Sword and Board Warrior from the Gladiator. Gladiator can't do that type of stuff. It's just not going to be able to throw out the damage that quick. Again, you're going to run into MP issues. Alright, so now let's take a look at the gear, and then we'll wrap this up. It's already gone on way too long. Trying to keep this short. Alright, so dog collar. This is a no-brainer. We're going to be using a lot of abilities, so we want that ability damage. We're going Titan Belt because, as you can see, we are going to put them in a staggered state when we counter them, and that's extra damage. Damage to weak points, again, that puts them in that weakened state and gives them, you know, that weak point modifier. Also, we're getting 13 attack, and we're getting 7 attack here, so it's 20 extra. Reckless, this one you could swap out. I just went with it because, you know, if you're on top of things, you're going to be building your tension with the counters. Another option could be to go prayer rings, or you could even go scholar spec. This will stack with your passive already, so you can just be even tankier. Let's see. So we're at 40% now. So you could do that, and you could keep with the theme of the warrior, just being really strong defensively. Last would be where it's around here somewhere. No. Right here, prayer rings. You can use prayer rings. You're gonna get a little bit of extra MP just from equipping it, and you're gonna get that passive. There we are, 5.
Spinferno. Spinferno.
There we are.
Spinferno.
So, I mean, you know, every little bit counts, helps, I suppose. So, it's up to you. I would stick with these two for sure. There's my Ace of Spoils, but that is, of course, end game, post game craziness for another video, maybe. Alright guys, it's probably way too long. I'll try to keep it shorter next time. See you guys again. Take care.